Hey everyone, so I've decided to try and start doing a weekly kind of vlog video that I'm going to be posting, at least on YouTube, possibly also on TikTok. I haven't decided yet, but because I am incredibly random with how much I can get done in a week due to different problems and what goes on, sometimes these videos might be an hour long, sometimes they might only be a couple of minutes, but I thought I would just start them as something to try and keep everything in order. So I thought I'd go over what I am going to be doing. It's Saturday when I'm filming this, so I put, depending on what I'm using, probably Sunday and Monday as the beginning of the week, obviously. So I've decided to start doing this. I have been posting about making my first corset. Now, this isn't going to be a proper waist reduction corset. This is actually just a zip up one, just to help straighten out lines. Mostly because my big project, so the one that I'm going to probably wear on, well, for me it's Sunday, because that's when I have someone with me to help do all the photographing. I plan on doing Sleeping Beauty, so I will have a separate video explaining that. But that said, I've got a couple of projects and all of them would just look more sleek and less crumpled with a corset, so I do that. So the idea is to have the outer layer and lining layer of this, which is well, we couldn't decide, it's from my remnants and I didn't actually have a label saying what it was, but we can't decide. It seems to be some kind of brushed cotton from the texture, but it is incredibly thick, so we're hoping for that. And then so yeah, this is going to be the outermost layer and the innermost layer of the four. And then I've just got two remnants of pink cottons, which I don't use pink very much. It's funny, I hate you wearing like normal everyday clothes. I normally just very simple. When it comes to cosplay, I wear the exact opposite. And I've got, though I don't think I've ever actually worn any of them yet, because it always sound wrong, a series of Pokemon ones. So far I've got, this is all of the left hand side cut out. I had hoped to get both the outer layer and the lining layer out of this fabric, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. I might, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so far I've got all the left hand side pieces cut out. I'm going to start marking out and then do the right hand side. So for all of them, this is the right, like at the side, so I've added a little bit here because it just went up just slightly too much. And then even though it is slightly big on me, I've had this extra because I'm going to be putting boning channels in, and I have never used proper synthetic web, and I usually use the one that's like a webbing one instead. But because it's a corset, I wanted to have a bit more stronger one, so I've added this but left it marked. That way if I do need to take it in, I know what the original was. But my hope is that the boning channels won't add too much bulk, that it is still enough. So that is that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and, like I said, make this is the outer layer, so this is what you'll see. I said I might be able to get the lining layer out. This is where it's like a brushed cotton, but I'm not sure. And then I just have two different cottons that were in my stash to make the inner layers which are going to be sewn together to make the bone channels. And then I do have some, if this is not enough, I've got some just plain white cotton to be the lining. So yeah, I will start marking this out, and hopefully my plan is by the end of the day to have at least all the corset cut out, if not pinned, possibly to sewn. But it is already about, I think, 3 o'clock. I didn't sleep well, so I'm having a very, very late start, so we'll see how that goes. So probably just seen it a bit sped up. I put all the pieces out. From what I can see, I should actually be able to get all the pieces out of this, because all the pieces are similar length, and I've just been able to do that. So I think I should be able to get all the pieces actually cut out that I wanted of this. Only thing I'm going to have to do is keep an eye, because I am adding, so I said, some length to this. But if I put it here, there should be just enough, and I do mean just. So for a remnant that I bought for no actual reason, it has remarkably done what I wanted, so we will go from there. Okay, so quick update, I have, without realising it, put these panels the wrong way round, because these are the right side to be correct for the left. To have the numbers facing up, and I've put them down. So what I'm going to do, despite wanting to try and avoid that, I'm just going to pin the fabric onto these and cut them out. Especially since for number 8 I need to add extra, so I can't have all these different lines that are going to mess me up, so I will just pin it down and work from there. Same panel 10's just had the, I think it's about 1.5 centimetres just added, just as an in case the boning does add too much. If not, because it's a simple just zip up one, most it's just to flatten out lines. If need be, it can either just be cut off or folded, just to add extra stability for the zip. So we will see there. So yeah, that is the first layer of cut, and like I said, I think I've got enough to cut this out again, which I was hoping for originally. So I'm gonna cut it all out now first, then because I'll have all the pieces again, I can just put them on and double check everything, and from there we'll see how we go. I have had some videos up on making corset, and I don't know if I've completely mentioned what the corset is actually for. As I know I have mentioned, it's not a waist reduction one, it is mostly just to smooth out the lines. That is, I plan to use it on several costumes. My main one is that in about, I think it's 2.5 months now, is London Comic Con, the October one. And Saturday is the big day for everyone, but Sunday is when I normally have someone who can photograph for me. So I usually wear my moth photographable one on that day, and the one for that is I'm doing Sleeping Beauty. Okay, so here they are. So these are the two. Like I said, I'm just going to cut one from each of these, the same corset, and then just sew boning channels into it, so just like lines to keep giving it a structure and such like. So it shouldn't take too long once I get going, but it's the actual working for me, so see how that goes. I now have one of the layers for my corset not only all cut out, I've got it all pinned together, so the only edges is where the zip goes. So I'm now going to start marking out the other layer of this fabric, which I said I think is like a brushed cotton. So yeah, that's one of 4 layers now cut out and that's a pinned. So we'll see how I'll go from there. So just a quick update, I now have both the outer layer and lining layer cut and all pinned together. So the next step is to do the same for these 2 fabrics to make the inner layers, which will be sewn to make the boning channels. So that will be my next step, is to start marking and cutting out these. So from this remnant I managed to all but 1 panel marked out so I can cut out, and luckily the other fabric I was going to be using, which is this one, there is more of this one, so I can easily cut the missing panel out, and as this is the inside layers, you don't see them at all, so if they're not all the same colour it doesn't matter as much. So I will start cutting all these out. Well, yesterday I cut out what was the outer layer and lining for my corset, which is behind me. So today's thing was doing basically the exact same thing, cutting out 2 layers, but this is the inner layers which will be sewn together to make boning channels. As you can see, they're all numbered in different directions. One layer is in dark pink, one's in light pink, just to also make it easier to not mix up different panels. So I've got a couple of things I want to mark up and cut out for other projects and bits like that, but it means that when I set up my sewing machine, I can just sit there and sew all these together in one go, even though it will be, the corset will be in white stitching just so I don't have to keep swapping. My other piece I think is going to be in purple, but it means I won't have to set up the machine multiple times. So that's where we are at, and I will see how it goes from there. I have decided, because the weather is really nice, that I am going to make a skirt. So went through my stash and I found these 2 fabrics which go quite nice together. Did some mathing and I've worked out I've enough to do 2 panels in this fabric, 3 in this, but obviously because of how it is, it wouldn't work right, so I'm going to use 2 panels of each, which leaves some of this left, which is so enough if need be. So as before, I'm going to the Harry Potter studio tour, so I started making this dress a while back and I stopped because of fitting issues I was having, which are now fixed. So the skirt was in a purple, which it looks pretty much the exact same. I'm going to do some more looking in actual like sunlight and such to check, but if it is, I have enough this left over to make another panel to do into this skirt. So instead of just being 2 and a bit times my waistline, I think it'll go to nearly 4. So we will see with that. And then I said this one I've worked it out, and it will come to just over 400 centimetres. So that is nearly 4 times mine. And I have enough to do the top of the waistband in this fabric, but I will have to get I think I might have enough here of just a black polycotton to do the lining of it. But yeah, it should be pretty easy, just rectangle skirt. But we will see how this goes. But yeah, I said I want to try and get obviously my potions dress done, because I'm going to Harry Potter in less than a month. But also, I said, because the weather is really nice in the UK right now, I wanted to make a new skirt. So we will see how everything goes. Okay, so it is very, very late and I should be going to bed, so I'm going to stop here. But had a quick thought. I was originally gonna, I said, cut the 2 panels of this out and use the leftover fabric to add a 3rd panel into this. I thought I might as well just use this for the other skirt, cut some centimetre of this to match and do that. And then while I was thinking it, because I realised I could make, like I said, the 3 panels, they would have to be a bit shorter. I realised that if I make it even a bit more shorter, I can actually get 4 panels out of this for it. So what I'm going to have to do, obviously if I'm too tired, is finish the mock-up. So not the mock-up, the actual piece. So I haven't got all these pins everywhere. And then from them work out what it is. If I do it, I said 4 panels is a lot shorter, but I think if this fits like I'm hoping, it will come to about 5 centimetres above my knee, which is still where it is. I did want it lower, but if it means I get more floof, I'm willing to do that. So I said it is incredibly late. I think it's actually something like 5 in the morning, so I'm going to bed. But yeah, I will work out the math tomorrow for this. So I had been working on this dress, which I planned to wear when I went to Harry Potter in a couple of weeks. I actually started making this bodice, I think, at least 2, possibly even 3 years ago. And unfortunately, when I've tried it on again now, it is too small. And this was made from fat quarters that I got from Aldi when they were doing all their Harry Potter ones. So I don't have any more of this fabric, but I'm going to take apart the bodice and make some alterations to fix this. So what I thought was going to be a quick put bindings on and put in a rectangle skirt is now going to take a lot longer, but we'll see how we go from there. When I went through my stash and I realised that I could use the purple fabric that I was going to use for the skirt, I had more for another skirt and I was working out calculations of how to have the most fabric. And when I was doing it, I realised that I had enough to do 3 panels in the other fabric and could have the 2 panels from the skirt for this, for that, and I started going through it all. So luckily what I've managed to do is have this panel here, and I've got just a little lining panel. This was originally the mock-up. I just put all these lines to pin and cut away like a centimetre each time to try and do the fitting. So this is what I ended up with. So I'm just gonna turn it in like that, and then this can be sewn in, so we'll have this panel in the middle, which I can put some decoration on, plus probably some stars or something to match this. So yeah, so luckily what it ended up is that this goes in here, and this was left over from when I cut out the panels, so I've managed to get to the stance here. That bodice I'm going to work on probably, well, today's Monday, I'm probably going to do that Wednesday. So I've got all the skirt panels here, which just need to literally just have straight line on all three panels to gather them. And then the skirt, this is fabric that I've got, and it's like a really pretty Japanese print one, so that, so one sec, had a glitch. Okay, so I've got 2 panels of this, and then 2 panels of the purple, which makes it about 4 times my waist, so that'll be really nice floof for it. And it's made to be 65 centimeters, which on me with the waistband brings it to just above my knees, which I think is a perfect length for me. So again, this is just going to be 4 rectangles sewn together, put into a waistband. I haven't completely decided if I do want to. I went through my stash and I found a zip to go on the skirt. So we'll see how that goes. And then literally from all of that now, I have these bits left. And I had, that's it. So yeah, this is literally all that's left now of the fabrics. So what it's going to be, hopefully, unfortunately I don't have enough for the waistband, so I've got to go through and find a fabric to be the waistband. But I was planning on using these 2 to make a bow, because I like having things like hair bows and stuff like that. So that will go to a bow to match that. And then these strips are 5 centimeter width ones. I'm going to cut them up to be that each one into 3, and make these into some headbands or scrunchies. So that'll be another thing to cut up. So that was what I spent most of today doing, and then I've spent the rest of my evening reading through McCall's pattern, and this is the bodice which is going to be the base for my Sleeping Beauty costume. So my goal for tonight is to cut out first find and all of this, and then cut out the 3 panels I need for the bodice, and possibly, because I do have it down here, get the mock-up fabric out and at least cut the mock-up out. And like I said, Wednesday is going to be when I set up my sewing machine and literally just sew. Well, I've got all 4 layers of my corset, the skirt, that skirt, then bodice, and possibly this mock-up, and literally just spend the whole day sewing absolutely everything to do that. So I will get cutting up for this. my posthumous dress now has the purple bodice put in, and then what I'm going to do is obviously put binding around this to make up for where I had to make alterations to the bust line and that. But because it's made from the same fabric as the skirt, it'll match, and I'll just put something on this to make it a little bit more decorative. And sewing wise, I now have all 4 layers of the corset are sewn together, and each seam is double stitched, so basically just means I just sewed over it twice to add stability. Boning I'm using is this, which is actually rubbed off, so I'll have to look. I think they're 2 different thicknesses, but there's 10 yards of each, so I'm going to use the thicker one first, and then if I need to add more, use the thinner one. This I actually just got off AliExpress, but this is my first time using actual just solid plastic boning, which is like called synthetic whalebone. So we'll go with all of that. And then I also have, this is for Sleeping Beauty. Got the front bodice cut out properly, and then the side, front and back panels I've rough cut just because I was didn't want to have all my mock-up fabric as well out, so I can cut these out properly and then sew them together to get a good idea. I'm also going to be pre-washing my fabric for tomorrow, and then sorting out the bodice, and then I've got to find my sleeve pattern, because then as soon as I know how much, I think I'm going to use this for the lining, so that'll be probably about that with the sleeves, about 2.5–3 meters, because I'm using, like I said, this for lining as well. Which case I should have about 7 for the skirt, which is far more than I actually need, which means I could possibly use it to make a petticoat as well. So we will see how we go with that. Okay, so doing a quick update. It's been a couple of days. I didn't get much done, and yesterday I was out all day. So I'm a bit behind what I wanted, but all the pieces of the mock-up for Sleeping Beauty here are cut out. So one of the things today is to sew this all together to see how that fitting for that goes, and if I need to make any alterations. As I said, I was visiting family yesterday, so I now have another project. I've been asked to hem this for my nan, so I'll be at least marking that out today, if not also sewing that. And then and my main project again that I'm still working on is my corset. As I said, everything is now, all 4 layers are sewn, so the next part is to get the pattern out and mark where all the bone channels are. Because of how this is, I do think I am going to have to make some adjustments, mostly because the original one was a historical one, so it flattened the chest, which I don't want, so I'm going to have to cut the boning off at the underbust. But also because I have made these panels larger, I do think I'm going to have to add more boning channels in certain places just to help with stability, but we'll see how it goes. I've got 10 yards of, I think, like 1 centimetre wide boning, and then I have 0.5 centimetre wide, and then I also have what I normally use, which is like a webbing one, which is plastic with gridding, but it means you can sew that directly onto the fabric without any boning channels or anything. So we'll see how it goes. I said as long as it's before I sew the bottom edge in, I can add more boning channels to this if need be, as when I'm wearing it and moving it shows it needs more stability. So that is what we're going. Okay, so tomorrow is my last day of filming for this weekly vlog, so I thought I'd just give a quick rundown of everything that I'm working on, hopefully tomorrow, to get done. So I did get all the fabric pre-washed. It wrinkled a lot more than I thought it was going to, so I have to iron all that out. Okay, so I found my Snow White skirt as well, and the only thing that needs it finishing sewing wise is the inside of the waistband needs to be whip stitched down to finish it with elastic going in. And I was planning on doing a lot of decoration, but I'll talk more about it in a different video. The bodice, as I said, is pinned with the extra panel in to make it fit. It does now run slightly too large, but obviously if I'm sitting down a lot and stuff like that, I want to have wiggle room. All the skirt panels are here cut and they are all pinned together. So tomorrow I just want to literally straight line sew all 3 lines and be done. This was the leftover fabric. It is now all pinned to make a bow, and then these strips are going to make very thin but some scrunchies, as me and my mum go through a lot of them. This is a dress for my nanny that I said about. I have it marked how much needs to be cut off, and so tomorrow I can go down a bit, cut it, and then pin it all to the hem in that place. Move pins out of the way. This is the skirt. The waistband is cut into the 3 so that I can put the zip in the back, and then all the sides are pinned, and then all the 4 panels are pinned together. So again, as I'm doing the same purple thread as the potions dress, I can just sew all 4 seams, sew this together, and then I can get out some thread and do gathering stitches at the same time for both of those. And then the last, and this is my Sleeping Beauty mock-up. It looks like it fits alright. I just did a quick fitting without anything proper underneath it. And it looks alright, but I'm obviously going to sew it together first to try it and add one of my mock-up zips to test it fully. And then this is the corset, and as you can see, all the lines are fully sewn in. What I did is the middle line was from the pattern. It didn't, obviously, because it doesn't specify like different makes all have different widths for their boning channels. Like the pre-covered bonings are all different, so they just mark a line, you just sew down the middle. But because I'm using non-cased boning and I'm making boning channels out of this, I had to do it. So I worked out how big my boning was, as I saw as you should see in this video where I marked it out, and then just marked to make it this big. And then what I have to do is stitch just next to each of these lines, and it will be like a snug fit to fit the boning channels in there. And that is the last thing. So what I am going to do, because I've got all of this to sew up, I'm going to have a look at the pattern pieces for Nifty right now, see how many it is for the bodice for that. If it's only like the Sleeping Beauty one, it's a couple of pounds, it won't take me long. I might cut that out tonight and try that as well, because in that way when I'm doing the corset, I can try on the mock-up over this to have a vague idea how it's going to fit. So that's that. I will see everyone later then. Okay, so I thought I'd film a bit of a wrap up of the week. It is Sunday morning, so this is what I got through sewing Saturday to Saturday. So I got, as I said in the end, this is the lining for the corset. I got it all 4 layers marked, cut out, sewn together, and then I have 7 of the 10 main boning channels actually sewn sewn together. So that is I'm going to be taking the rest of the Sunday off, so I'm hoping to get editing done Monday or Tuesday and have this up Tuesday evening, if not Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, the corset is now nearly done. Also I needed something hand sewn just to do yesterday, so I got, this is my Snow White skirt. It's about the 4th or 5th time I've made this, because I kept making it, not liking it, and just obviously changing it. Obviously it started with this fabric and it was see-through, so I knew I was going to have to put something underneath it anyway, but then I didn't like how it went, so I bought this, and I think, like I said, this is the 5th time I've sewn it together and I actually like it now. So I finished it by sewing the front of the waistband on, and most of last night the bit I did was using I think they're called whip stitches to just sew the inside of it on. I've left about 2-inch gap at the back, which is where I'm going to insert the elastic, and then I started working on what I'm going to be doing for the decorations. I've got these like chandelier pieces. I was thinking of doing the edge, especially since it helps hold it down to hide the hem a bit more. But I've got a whole box of yellows and gold and clear beads to sew on that. But this is, obviously I'm not going to be wearing this until, I don't actually have a convention set for this, but we'll see how that goes. As I've got everything in this box here just to make it easy. As I said, I've got this. My bodice is now sorted, so I've just got to sew this panel in. And I've got all the skirt panels for that, and the skirt itself all cut out. Only thing I need to do is find a fabric to do the inside of the waistband. I might just use this, which is just a remnant I've got hanging around. And then onto what is my main project for Comic-Con is Sleeping Beauty, and I have the mock-up here. I've sewn all the front together, and I think it's because I use smaller seams than they say, but this bit's there. But by the look of it already, I might have to make it longer anyway, so that might just be the guide for making it longer. Just from trying it on pinned, I've also noticed that the armholes are a little bit small for me, but I don't know if that's just because I'm pulling it up too tight, because it's meant to be an off the shoulder. But obviously my next thing is to finish sewing this all together and put in one of my zips to test the fit. I think, like I said, it feels like it fits in the back and that, so it might just be that I just need to lower and make the armhole a little bit bigger. But if that works, then I can start working on Sleeping Beauty. also it fits nice enough that with a couple of modifications it might be the bodice I use for Snow White, because the reason I stopped working on Snow White not only was I was having problems with the skirt, I drafted my own bodice for it, and I kept having different problems with the fit where it just didn't fit right at the sides. I was having to put darts in, and in the end I decided to take a break, and so I said this bodice does seem to also be the right kind. The only thing I might have to do is obviously make the little bit less off the shoulder, but we'll see how that goes. That might just make the straps a bit thicker, but we'll see how it goes. And I might adjust the neckline a little. I haven't fully decided yet. Was in my last clip I was also working on a dress for my nanny. That has already been completely done, and my dad took that to her when he visited, so she's already got that. I had a thank you text. She's going to try it on tomorrow and make sure it's all the right length. Fingers crossed that I don't have to do anything with that. So that is this week. Like I said, I don't actually know. I'm hoping to get this out either Tuesday night or Wednesday, but we'll see, because I have about, I think, 4 hours of footage of not only me talking but of me sewing that needs to be sped up, probably with different bits where I've repeated myself. Bits can be cut out. We'll see how it goes, but I have never edited this amount of footage in one go, so we'll have to see how it goes. But I am hopeful with the amount of, I don't know if this is going to be a weekly thing now, especially since, as I said, I do try to get lots done, but I jump from project to project. So what I might try and do is do this as a monthly thing rather than a weekly thing. See what people think in comments, that if I should just do a weekly thing, or like every other week or a month. We'll see how that goes. But I will see everyone later then.